Yo,
Yo!
Welcome to Comic Convo Express, everybody. We are live on twitch.tv/Comic Convo Express. Shout out to the chat room. I'm Pedro, the Marvel fanboy himself.
And I'm Tom, the Cosmic Kid.
And with us, we got Anthony.
I'm Anthony. Daredevil is great.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
And we also got Pev Gamer. He's in the house. How you
What's going
doing,
on,
Pev?
everybody?
Professor
What's up?
Xavier in the house.
She's still doing his smooth voice.
Good God, man.
You can follow us on youtube.com/Comic Convo Express for the edited version of this show by Pev Gamer.
Good God, man.
Hit the subscribe and follow us, and also our other show, our new show, In Between the Panels, where we react to the world news related to comics, movies, video games,
Slow down,
and
son.
TV shows.
Slow down, son.
You can you can also check out our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Comic Convo Express and get early access, behind the scenes content, artwork from the Cosmic Kid, and access to our other show, The After Hours, where the convo goes uncut and uncensored, exclusively on the Patreon. You can check out streamlab.com/merch/PevGamer for both Pev Gamer and Comic Convo Express merchandise. Comic Convo Express is brought to you by
Dubby. So all those other energy drinks out there, do better.
Do better. Go to w.gg and use the
I want a
promotional
W, damn
code
it.
PevGamer and get 10% off the entire order. I still gonna say, get your double. So how you doing,
Trademark.
Pev?
I trademarked that.
Yeah, we do,
I'm
right?
gonna trademark.
Doing good,
Guys,
doing
welcome.
good. You guys doing well? Everyone's good?
Everybody doing
We're
that?
good, man.
I haven't finished Daredevil, but I need to.
Oh.
I stopped. I'm on episode 8.
We'll talk about that on the after
I'm on
hours.
episode 8, and I stopped this for this podcast. This better
Really
be
good,
very
right?
fun.
It is.
It's really good, right?
So today's topic is actually about the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. We're going to be comparing the comic book to the recent 3-part movie that's come out. Anthony is here to co-moderate with me. We're going to make sure that this is a nice, fun, and well-paced conversation that we have. Make sure you check us out live over on twitch.tv/PevGamer every other Saturday, and check out the edited version on YouTube, youtube.com/Comic Convo Express. Did I mess that up? Did I say twitch.tv/PevGamer instead of
Yeah.
Comic Convo?
I forgot.
Twitch.tv/Comic Convo Express. I
But I covered
apologize.
it.
Just go follow us.
Just follow us.
Yeah.
Follow us.
Drop a like
We
and
love
subscribe.
you.
Also, if you like Anthony's co-moderation, make sure you follow him over on Instagram.com/Webheadvega.
All socials, Webheadvega. Just
All
some shout out.
Nice.
Exactly.
Wu-Tang, son. Wu-Tang.
That's right.
Wu-Tang is for kids.
Gentlemen, you guys ready to get into this?
Yeah,
we
man.
are. I think we are.
I think we're ready.
Fantastic. So I actually just messaged you this too if you need it. So segment 1 is actually going to be a 2-part question. So I want you both have seen the movie, you both have read the comic. Some of us have read it a couple times.
It was epic.
Some of us are having their first time reading it. So I want you guys to rate both the 3-part movie and the 12 issues by a star system, 1 stars to 5 stars rating, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Just separate your reasoning, and then you guys can go right into open dialogue for this.
All right. Basically, I'm gonna kind of merge segment 1 and 2 together, but it's all gonna make sense eventually. Okay, guys. Basically, we're talking about the 12-part maxi series, which came out back in 1985 from DC Comics. Overall, both comics and animated movies share the same core story. They have distinct differences, characters, development, plots, and twists and tones. Back in 1985 to 86, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Earth's 12-part series was a monumental event in DC Comics universe. The creative team behind the iconic series include writer Mark Wolfman, who wanted to simplify the DC universe and create a simple, unified universe. Penciler, the great late George Perez, rest in peace, who was excited to work on the series and saw a great opportunity to draw a wide range of characters from iconic superheroes to obscure ones. Inker, Jerry Ordway, who took over the inking. Epic Jerry Ordway got a couple autographs on my books. Death of Superman, Death of Flash. Iconic superheroes, inker, George Perez, who took over duties after Dick Giordano because of deadline constraints. Then you have your letterer, John Costanza, colorist, Anthony Tolan, Tom Zuko, and Carl Gaffor. The team collaboration resulted in a groundbreaking series which has lasting impact in DC Universe, streamlining the complex continuity and paving a way for future crossover events. Now, the story revolves around the Anti-Monitor and a powerful being. The Anti-Monitor, yes, and a powerful being from an antimatter universe who seeks to destroy the life in the multi-universe. The Monitor, his counterpart, recruits heroes from various universes to stop the Anti-Monitor's destruction plans. The series concludes with the Anti-Monitor being defeated, but not before destroying countless universes, leaving a single merged universe in its wake. In 2022, a new DC Crisis event, Dark Crisis and Infinity Earths, which serves to a sequel to the original series. The storyline follows Justice League as it faces new threads that could destroy the fabric of reality.
Hey Tom, question for you actually.
Yes.
Just while we're getting into the weeds of things, how many infinite storylines are there now, or crisis storylines? I'm sorry.
Even though some of them stated Crisis on it, they actually didn't tie to the main.
The original Crisis.
Yeah, from 1985, 86. I mean, you had your final, you had your Infinity Crisis. A lot of them didn't actually tie to it. They were like spin-offs of it, like think of a tree and the branches off of it.
I remember Identity Crisis had
Yeah.
nothing to do with the multi.
Not at all.
It was more of a mystery by Brad Meltzer, so it's like
Crazy.
So then, actually, I'm going to slightly change the question for you, Tom. How would you compare the other Crisis storylines to the original?
Nothing like the real thing, man.
No, that's
OG's
fair.
still the best. I mean, again, this set up everything for future events. And this actually kick-started. I mean, Marvel had a couple, series, but nothing in a multi-level. This actually precedes Secret Wars, which came out in 86. It's actually
It predates it.
yeah, but that had nothing to do with the multiverse storyline either.
no. What I'm saying, as say a maxi series
Yes,
or a
maxi
multi-series.
series, then
Yes,
DC did it first before
DC.
Marvel did. And
correct. And not only that, it ran through all the DC titles back then.
I will say it's almost painful how much comics will lead into those ideas of forming a bunch of different alternate universes together and throwing them in together. Like it's terrible. I will stand by it. Yeah, it was cool in the '80s when we did it once or twice. Then the sporadic '90s crossover with like a 2099 or a Batman Beyond mixing with the younger guy. Like that was cool when it was happening. Now it's every movie, every comic, every show is a crossover or a new universe.
Like that was
Very
cool what you
annoying.
said, like how in the anime they had the DC, Batman 2099 in it.
yes, I remember.
It's a Batman.
That's true.
That was pretty cool.
Did you? I forgot to ask you. Did you see any of the three of the Crisis on
Crisis.
Infinite Earth movies yet?
I saw the first one.
Okay.
We got an awesome. I'm so happy they're taking their time and making. It's 3 parts. Is it just
Yes.
3 parts? Or are they doing any more after
Three-
that?
It was
It's
3.
just
But
three, yeah.
they're all around 95 minutes per movie
so,
show.
yeah.
Each
Sounds
movie
right.
stood on
And
its
they're
own.
giving the comics a fair representation that you don't get from the movies. And the movie's only gonna be 120 minutes, give or take, and 2 hours to sell a story that was written over the course of multiple years. I mean, things like Civil War got dumbed down, and the Winter Soldier storyline in the Marvel stuff. Man of Steel with killing Zod in one movie is insane. Or throwing Zod and his bozos in a plastic fucking glass thing. What the fuck they were doing?
You will lie down before me, Jarrell! Both you and them one day, Jarrell!
It's nice to see that the animated shows are definitely movies are taking their time and really fleshing out what the books were
And
made
you
of.
could do so much more in an anime show or even a movie than you could do in live action too.
Absolutely.
That's true. They
So-
sometimes make it better.
That being said, now that we've kind of done the roundabout for that, Tom, what is your opinion on the the animation movies to the comic? How would you rate both of them separately? And do you think they compare?
I'm saying the books hands down my favorite. You got to read them. You got out of 5, I'd go 10 out of 10 on the books. But the movies, I wasn't really a big fan. The reason why you didn't
What would you
didn't
rate
need
the
to-
movie?
I would say broke it down like this. I got a 3 out of 5 for story, animation 4 out of 5, voice cast, which I think they nailed it, 5 out of 5. Spacing was 3 out of 5. Faithfulness to source material, I want to say 2.5 out of a 5. The
Really?
reason why, because I think they just stretched it way too long.
Do
I mean, you didn't need to make 3 movies, which you could have made at least 2 movies out of.
do the math with me on that. That averages out to be 3.5 stars for the entire thing overall, roughly. Roughly about.
I will say credit to where it's due. Infinite Earth is Kevin Conroy's last official movie.
Rest in peace,
Yes.
man.
That's
That's
true.
a
Rest in
big deal
peace,
in this
man.
movie.
Say what you want. It's going to be.
You guys saw him at the con too, remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Got a
yes,
pop or
yes.
something signed from him?
I got a pop. He got the McFarlane toys.
Nice.
His was the Arkham Mine was the animated series, and
Yeah.
along
And
with
took a
Legend.
picture with him too.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We gotta look that up and add this to the.
Yeah,
edit.
and it's a
Don't
pod,
worry
man.
about the edits. I'll take care of the edits.
That's so
Talk in the
fun.
conversation.
Adam Post.
I got
go
before
ahead.
you go, let me just drop this. The Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths anime movie trilogy boasts an impressive voice cast. Again, Mark Hamill as the Joker, Kevin Conroy, again, rest in peace, as Batman, which was his final role. Corey Stoll as Lex Luthor. Was it Jensen Ackles as Batman Bruce Wayne, Darian Chris as Superman Earth 2 and Superman. Was it Santana Katic as Wonder Woman and Superwoman, Matt Boomer as Flash, Jimmy Simpson as Green Arrow. DC anime trilogy Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths was released in 2024. The release dates: Part 1, January 9, 2024. Part 2, April 23, 2024. Part 3, July 16, 2024.
So there was a big gap in between movies when it came out through HBO Max.
And now the key differences to me were the characters' deaths. I know we're going to talk about it. We'll expand more on it, but I'll just drop this. The character deaths in the comic: Barry Allen, aka the Flash, Razel, Supergirl, sacrifice themselves to save the multi-universe. In the animated movie, Supergirl and Wonder Woman make the ultimate sacrifice. That was one of the real
It was
twists.
like the twist.
Yeah, you're never really going to get an actual
Adaptation.
from the comic to the thing, but you take it with a grain of salt. It's pretty much to entertain you.
Right.
Definitely.
The multiverse merging. The comics result in the merging of the 5 main Earths into a single planet called New Earth. The animated movies also merged the remaining Earths into one prime universe, but with a different outcome. Tone and style, the comic has a more serious and darker tone, while the animated movie has a mix of action, drama, and humor. And again, like I said, I'm leaning more towards the comic. Again, I'd say 10 out of 10 because that's what I grew up on.
And how many stars would you give for the movie?
Well, they did a little math.
Yeah, the way he broke it down, it
averaged out.
averages to be 3.5 for all 3 of the movies.
Yeah. And then a quick story flashback. Back in '86, I had a operation in the hospital, and I remember with my mom, I was going for a hernia operation, and I'll just touch on it quick. I don't want to Debbie down the pod, man. But I actually
She actually went through the Infinite Earth.
had an incident where something happened with the medication that they gave me at the hospital, and I was actually pronounced dead. But aside from all that, it's another story. We'll talk about that in after hours, guys.
The after hour. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, my mom went to the store and she went and got me comics, and she actually got me the Crisis books
Really?
that I read back in 1986 in the hospital.
Wow.
And when I tell you to see an actual, you read comics or whatever, but
course.
to actually read the books that had these iconic characters, and to see the Flash die, see Supergirl die, which was amazing, and that stuck with me till this very day. And these are actually, I think, these aren't the actual books, but the actual books I did have, I read them and loved them to death.
Those are like the best presents. Christmas, when you're sick, when Easter.
Didn't mean to Debbie down the
Debbie Downer.
the show, man.
It was very motivational. about it.
These are the type of stories that make everything feel more realistic. So you're just giving us a intake of
childhood.
what comics look like. Yeah.
I was like 14 years old then too, man. But my mom, she gave me these, and I was like, oh my god! And then I saw like the background with all the. Speaking of this book, what about the background?
That George Perez drew it. He tried to fit a lot of the DC
All the
characters in
DC
it,
characters.
except
He was missing one character.
one character. And we talked about this earlier.
Guess who it was,
You
guys?
guys want to take a guess?
Just a quick guess.
If I were to guess, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be something like Green Lantern.
Oh, you hit it on the
Oh,
nose.
wow.
Oh, did I really?
It was Green Lantern.
Was it John Stewart or was it Hal Jordan?
It was Hal.
Oh,
It was Hal.
Jordan. Yeah.
Look at that. Fun fact, baby.
Fun
Fun
fact.
fact. A fun fact.
Every day.
I've gone for like a month of filming, and we already have fucking fun fact.
Oh, he's Comic Fresh too. You missed that.
You missed that.
What is it? What is it?
When the
Comic Fresh?
like a book when it comes out and it's really like the best book. I always say it's Comic Con.
What are we, Rotten Tomatoes? The fuck's happening?
We do better than
Have you seen our
the tomatoes.
hold on? Have you seen our Thursday show?
No, wait.
So
the-
our Thursday show.
that's the one that does like modern stuff.
Yeah, so we end up looking at a lot of Rotten Tomatoes things.
Between the
so
cheats.
Pedro
between
just
the panels.
appropriated
Right.
certified fresh.
It's between the sheets.
Between the panels.
Between the sheets.
They're getting in between the sheets.
Anyway,
And another thing, I'll just
Alright.
drop this. Back previous to drawing this and writing this, Marv Wolfman.
Yeah.
Fun fact: back in 1983, the story was actually presented to DC, and they're like, "Get the hell out of here! We ain't killing nobody. We ain't doing nothing. We're good." And a lot of people reference these stories as, like, for example, Superman. They'll go pre-crisis and post-crisis,
post-crisis.
and then because of this story, they revamped everything, which gave it a whole new slate. Back in '86, John Byrne relaunched Superman.
Man of Steel.
Marv Wolfman and George Perez actually went back after the storyline back in '87, and they relaunched Wonder Woman. Now it was cool because DC, they were like, "Hey, who are we gonna get to do this 12-part maxi series?" And Marv Wolfman was like, "I'll do it. I'll write it." And well, actually, he wrote it in '83,
Right.
and he was like, "Hey, George Perez with me too." And they were actually working back in Teen Titans from 1980 to '85. Marv Wolfman relaunched the Teen Titans series, creating a new team to characterize Robin, Starfire, Raven, and Cyborg. The work on the series is highly regarded and helped reestablish the new Teen Titans. So Teen Titans was previous to this,
Crisis.
Yeah,
That's
which
what
is amazing.
Was on that.
And George Perez, man, I saw a couple interviews on him. He was so excited to do that series.
It's like one of his proud moments too.
Yeah, he was great, man. Rest in peace again, man.
Well, when I got these questions, I kept them separate because you were trying to get like a review, almost like the comic combo, fresh.
Don't start.
Now, well, in this question, I wanted us to review the movie and the books. I'll start with the movie real quick.
Okay.
I rated it 3-star
Out of 5.
Oh.
I was very harsh, and
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna give you the good real quick. Obviously, you touched upon it. The Flash was front and center in the first part, and then leading to his death. Seeing the crime syndicate of America, that was actually pretty cool.
Sick.
The descent of the Justice League's origin, like they went back in time to see how it was formed. They changed it up a little bit when the Flash joined and got the team together. We saw a badass Amazo. I thought that was like the best Amazo I've ever seen. I thought that was pretty cool. And it was a scary situation. All the movies more updated than the book.
Yeah.
That was my biggest comparison. The good part of it.
Well, look at the times. I mean, you're talking
You
80s.
have to update something
yeah.
that didn't make sense now. If it was, but back then it did make sense. So I have to give them that. But then here comes the bad.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
There's bad?
Yes, there's bad.
Why is there bad?
Start with the movies. There was a sad / awesome moment from most multiverses, like the Super Friends' death, childhood.
Super Friends.
Kevin
man.
Conroy's Batman in the DC universe, Bruce Timm universe. Basically, like the way that it was very sad to see a lot of the multiverse planets getting destroyed, knowing that there was a version of the Justice League there, and it was kind of like sad to me. I was very emotional about that.
That was deep.
I actually felt like my childhood was like being wiped out.
You're like-
the wave.
DC, what? Beep.
Oh,
Noticed the Marvel T-shirt.
it was nice to see some. It was nice to see some different
and-
Earths. Heroes teaming up with the villains and everything. Psycho Pirate's fate in the end was kind of
A Psycho Pirate.
like, ooh. The death of Supergirl was spot on.
I can't trust how some of these DC guys are just pure jabronis.
And
Like,
I
gotta kill off.
if you look at your who's who, they got like Backpack Man, Book Bag Guy,
It's
Tight Man.
pencil dude, Lunchback Guy, Lunchbox.
it's funny because I think when you look at like the older big Marvel ones, you see all these big names. There's like, oh yeah, there's like the Wolverine, like Spider-Man, Hulk. Yeah, a lot of them are like B-list, C-list guys.
Yep.
I think for DC, they have a lot more A-list guys, like the Batmans, the Supermans, on. And then it's a whole list of D and F tier guys, the jabroni squad.
It really does. It really
It's like in Mortal Kombat games where it's like, all right, Scorpion's not going to die, Sub-Zero might die, everyone else is dead. Like the first cutscene of the game. It's everything.
Oh, and speaking, and I'm sorry to cut you off. And speaking of that, they actually, when they presented the story to DC, they're like, okay, DC said, here's a list of all the people you can kill, and they killed all of them.
Where was Apache Chief? Where was Black Vulcan? Where was Samurai? Killed them
Already dead.
They died. They died already.
Pre-crisis. Gotcha.
Imagine you die off panel.
That's
Um,
crazy.
Like, imagine being that relevant.
My
to
child
DC.
is saying
And you're like, I
God.
think that's Hawk and Dove. I think. Man, I know that costume. I know that. You see a hand reaching out.
What was that? Fucking
Sick cat.
Todd McFarlane commentary.
El Gato. He's an El Gato man.
Oh, that's so man. There was an awesome team up with the Bat family. I thought that was
The
pretty
movie,
cool.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
John Constantine was awesome in the movie,
It's crazy how
even though he wasn't in the book.
yeah, they focused on him a
They
lot
focused
on the
It was good for the movie, but like compared to the book, it was
Careful,
like
careful with the mic. I see the
mic check.
careful.
song.
But John Constantine, yeah, he's a good character, and he was good for the movie, but like they didn't use him. It was kind of like sad.
He didn't
that
utilize
they-
him.
Wait, whoa.
In the,
Now
in the
I'm gonna
movie,
step
in the
I'm talking
movie
about
they
the book.
used him.
No, I know, but you said he didn't make sense being used. Have you forgotten about the new 52 animated movies?
No,
He is the
he
huge
was
focus
important
point of
there.
that.
Yeah.
But what I was referring to is how come
Just Lee
Marv
Dark,
Wolf.
right?
Let me rephrase
Yeah,
that.
all those.
My concern was how come Marv Wolfman didn't use him during the original book story?
Was-
Crisis. He would have fit.
I don't know if
He was a jabroni then. He probably was
yeah,
used.
he was a baby jabroni.
But I did enjoy
Jabroni
Dr.
Jr.
Fate or the Spectre. So, but you,
Just a
you
beast.
mix all those complaints and the compliments, it just brought it to a 3 to me. So I
Also,
like that.
I can't read who's in the chat, but goddamn right, there's 4 people.
Um,
Goddamn right.
Oh, there was more. Hold on. I'm sorry. Oh God, there's more. There was not enough time on Wonder Woman, like you said. Her story was very important in the crisis, but not in the
Yes.
not recognizing other universes. Spoke about that. The death of Darkseid. I mean, it was a touching story, but like did not happen in Infinity Crisis.
No.
Lex Luthor was kind of force fed to the story as a hero, and then as coming back as a villain. It was like either keep him as a good guy or keep him as a bad. Because in the original story,
In
he
the
was
story,
good.
he was one of
He
the
was
main
one of the
characters.
main
Remember the
characters.
kid? They send him
If it
his
wasn't
son.
for him, yeah.
Remember his son? They send him, and he was a good guy.
He was a
in
good
the,
guy,
in the
exactly.
books. Yeah,
So I thought he should have been. They should have kept him in there, not kill him
or
off so
focus
early,
on
and
him
which is
a
so
little
weird.
more. Yeah.
I also wanted to know what happened to Martial Manhunter.
No, you don't.
I don't know.
He's an F list.
You know what? He's
The one and only
strength wise
C-list.
and power wise, he's pretty up there with Superman, and that's why, believe it or not, they dumbed him down in remember Superman when he died back in the 90s?
Yes,
They dumbed him down
Dumbed
and
him
they
down.
actually set him in the back seat because same thing with
because he would probably helped him out with Doomsday.
yes. Yeah, because he's pretty. I mean, strength wise, he's up there with Superman.
And my biggest tiff in this whole thing.
Uh-oh.
Hear me out. The Flash and Supergirl both died in the storyline, right?
Yes.
Like before they were completely wiped out, before the reset. Does this mean when they rebooted the DC universe, they shouldn't have existed?
Should have
They
existed.
shouldn't.
Well, remember, this set up a clean slate for all.
All of them.
Remember, Wally West picked up the ring at the end of this when
And he
Barry
becomes-
Allen
he
died and
becomes
he
the new
became the new
Flash.
Flash.
And then the comic book, we didn't see Barry Allen for a long time. That's actually stuck. Supergirl came sometime after. It was before he came back.
Yeah.
So my point I was trying to make was in the animated show movie. If they died before Crisis, then shouldn't they have not been a part of the reset?
They would still be part of the reset because they existed.
Yeah. Well, if you want to talk about that, we could talk about Gamora in the movies. Remember, she died and got sacrificed.
Yes.
Why'd she come back and Black Widow didn't come back?
Because that was her from the past that came.
I fucking hate time travel.
Yeah, that's a motherfucker.
All right, we'll get off of that one.
All right, sorry.
Now the book. Now we're gonna go on the book. Okay, you gave it a 10. I'm
10 out of 5 stars.
DC, so
Story
hear me
one,
out.
the greatest
Book,
storyline.
I also gave it a 3.
Of course you did, because you know why? Your first
But
name's Marvel.
I also
Your last name's Comics.
So I would also give it a half a star with the 3. So,
Oh,
so here's the good reasons.
What is that?
First of all,
sorry, stars.
the biggest thing about the book that gives it most of the stars was George Perez. The artwork was phenomenal. The way he fits the whole DC universe in the story.
So let me ask you: you weren't a fan of the writing of the book?
The writing was good, and it worked well with George Perez.
He thought there should have been more Spider-Man.
I think George Perez artwork shined more. Like every page, you literally like, where's Waldo? Everybody could find
I
everybody.
100 agree with you. I 100% agree
Where's
with you.
man? He's right there. He's Batman, right?
Dude, if Peter Parker would have showed up, holy shit! Which one? Toby? Garfield? Which one? Which one? Holland? Which one?
Oh, look,
Can I Can I tell them? Can I tell them?
What are you gonna tell me?
Before we got into the studio, so Anthony and I came together to the studio. While we were driving, I said, "Aunt, we should set up a parlay. How soon in the pod will Dad say Spider-Man?"
He said it. How do you say
This man's like, bring up Secret Wars, so by proxy.
Dude, I was looking at you and I saw Peter in your eye, you son of a bitch.
it? Always mine.
Pause.
Pause.
It's always in your eye.
This man's like Jay John.
Peter in your eye. Pause, man.
Well, it's true. It's a tattoo. What do you expect?
Gentlemen, let's pull it back. Let's
Yes,
move
let's
on
pull
to
it
the
back.
next segment.
Number Triss.
Oh wait, did you give your rating for the book?
For the book, yes. By
3.5 stars. Get out of here.
For the book? I thought it was for the movie. You gave
no, the
me
movie
that.
I gave a 3, and the book a 3.5.
Dude, you were really harsh.
I know, very harsh.
Mr. Marvel.
Well, he's right.
Marvel.
I'll get off.
I love you,
I'll get off
Feige.
track real quick.
I love you. I love you.
I saw the movie first. Let's get this out of the way. I saw the movie first.
What the
Just
heck?
for people who doesn't read the comic, I watched the movie first. I actually saw the first movie, and it told me myself I need to read the book to find out if this is accurate or not. So I ended up ordering the book.
Yeah, soft cover. Check it out. Actually, LC. Check your LCS.
There you go.
Covered by Alex Ross, by the way. We'll be talking about him eventually. He'll get his own show.
LCS.
But I had to get it. I wanted to read the whole storyline and find out what was this all about because I knew about it, never read it. During the 80s,
It's
I
a cover
wasn't.
by Alex Ross, right?
Yeah, Alex Ross.
Sweet. Alex
So
Ross, baby.
when this book came out in '84, I was not reading DC.
No.
And I was almost out of comic book, but I was trying to get back in, and I was in more Marvel. Anyway, when I came back in and I tried a couple of DC books, and this was like maybe in the '90s, they kept referring to the Crisis book. I kept doing a little bit of research, heard about Crisis, and it changed everything. And I just told myself, not for me. I regretted that because I read it recently. So years later, the word crisis became a joke at DC. Every time they want to reboot something, they throw the word crisis in the title. And I just took it as a joke because I'm a Marvel fanboy. Hey, look. So anyway, years later,
reboot Spider-Man. Okay, guys,
but I
guess what?
think
New Spider-Man.
He's spectacular now.
I did check out some of the Crisis story, but none of them had. Most of them didn't have anything to do with the original Crisis.
Gotcha.
So then, I ordered the book,
Mhm.
and I told myself I would read it, and then I ended up at the same time as I'm reading this. I also saw part 2 and then part 3. All both came out.
Question for you on the book, not
Yes.
to cut you off.
Absolutely,
If you're not entertained,
I was entertained.
Okay.
I was
Alright.
very entertained. But as a
Uh-oh.
Marvel fan and as not a real DC fan, I'll be honest with that. If I was a DC fan,
yes.
I would have loved it. I would have put it like a 10-star, like you.
Well,
The only
see-
reason why is because as a DC fan, the first thing you're looking at in the storyline is all your favorite characters.
I have a question.
I,
Did you judge it off 5 stars or 10 stars?
5 stars.
I threw a 10 in
He
there.
threw a
baby.
10. He went
Why not?
overboard. on it.
Why not?
But
Pep
for-
gives me leeway. I can
like
drop a 10 in there.
But as a DC fan, every
It's an A
time
plus.
you're a fan,
Gold star.
whether it's the big 3 Superman, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
or even
Trinity,
Green Lantern
yeah.
and Aquaman, or even the low tier heroes that you
I kind of thought Batman didn't play too big of a role,
didn't,
which he
even
could
though
have,
it was cool to see him,
which he
didn't
could
do
have
it.
done.
Let him ask the question first before you answer.
Oh no, he was agreeing with me.
Yeah.
So, as a DC fan, yes, it's a who's who, where, what did they do, and how important is this affecting the books that you were probably reading back then? I was a DC fan. So
Listen, you keep saying DC fan, you're gonna make me upset.
Mr. McGee! Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
But listen, listen.
But as
You're
a-
a fan of comic books. You're a fan of entertaining.
Absolutely, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was entertaining. That
Right.
that got me there.
All right, so your point of view as a
But I
DC,
think
say if you were a DC fan,
If
what
I
your-
was a DC
Okay.
fan, I would have been more excited because it would have been like where's Waldo? Oh, there he is. I'm excited. He's
okay,
there. He's
you
got
saw
something
like
to do with it.
Blue Beetle, that's
And
my
then you would
favorite
ask
character.
yourself, what does this have to? How is this going to affect? Let's say the question.
Yep.
How is this going to affect Captain Atom? How is this going to affect Aquaman?
Yeah.
It was like that. That's how good that
I thought
story
it paced
was.
out very well in the
It
book.
did.
You should name one word. That's word,
The
Jabron.
anime series, the 3 movies, I still think it
Captain
was dragged out, extended, and a lot of the storyline to me wasn't.
I
Wasn't
100% agree with you.
But they didn't do
However-
an up-to-date version of it.
However,
Yeah.
what the movie did good was every point that was made in the book was also hit there. How they got there was 2 different ways.
Yes, correct.
So, like, Like the first part, it was all about the Flash. It felt like a Flash movie. Let's be honest with that.
Well, he was one of the main
He was
characters
the main
in
character,
the book.
right?
He also is the one who was sent back by Constantine at the end of
Yes.
Apocalypse
Exactly.
Wars.
You know what you have to do, mate. Clear the board. Start again. Another flashpoint.
Yeah.
But what did you find it weird that his story began in the first part and ended at the same movie, the same part?
No, not at all. It made sense.
Well, in the story, in the books,
It's stretched
well, you
out
saw. Well, at the beginning, you saw Flash pop up, and Batman's there, and he's like, "Help me, help me!" And then
because he was still
then
running through time.
he's jumping through all the other issues, and they're like, "What the hell, Flash is doing here? What is
Right.
Batman's like, "I can help you, whatever," and he couldn't, but he was running so damn fast, dude. He kept jumping through all the universes.
All right, guys, we've almost gone 30 minutes on this first segment. Are we satisfied with our answers?
I think we
Yeah,
are.
I think
Sure.
that was first
Yeah,
and second
that was-
segment.
You want to set up the third segment?
All right, hold on.
Third segment.
Let me open the Google Doc.
On us, it's third. It's reality is our second.
So where does Superman come from?
So
How does Spider-Man play into this?
he's in a multi-universe.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, nice. The eyes lit up, even though it was a joke.
He said, "What?"
Good job reading the book as an objective comic book reader.
I'm trying, man. I'm
Secret
trying.
Wars? Who said that?
So what do you guys think is the most impactful sacrifice from the movie and then the comic book?
All right, P, you could if you want, and then
I'm real
I'll
fast.
jump right after.
In
You're
both-
real fast. Pause.
Yes, pause. All right, in both movies, I'm going to say the Flash's death was very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Both in the book and the movie, I think it was very impactful. So, it was a sad death. It was getting a lot of, from the happiness of.
Did Flash die in the movie?
In the movie, he dies, but the fact that he got to spend his last minute with Iris was very emotional.
That was
So
touching.
I think
man.
that was it.
that was deep.
He
man.
died here. He did not come back for a long time in the book. I said that before.
Years, like 30-something years, I believe, in the
Yeah.
comic. He
In
didn't
my
come back.
honorable mention, the impactful death, and this is probably pretty funny, the Brooke Tim universe. And
That
the
was deep,
Super
man.
Friends universe.
That was deep, man.
It was very
That's your
sad.
childhood, man.
It was childhood, man.
You know.
That was my earliest DC. Like I wasn't a DC fan. I got older, but when I was at that age, the DC universe to me was the cartoons. It was Super Friends. It was the animation before
Batman
that.
too, man.
It was the old Superman, the black and white Superman,
Oh yeah,
and Batman, even with Adam West. That was my childhood.
the greatest Batman ever, right, Ant?
Exactly.
West?
And West, baby. Shark repellent, right?
You're such a shark. You're Batman too.
Fun fact: we did a couple months ago. We did a top 5 who played Batman, the actors better.
Best.
This one shocked the hell out of me with Adam West.
It's dope, man.
But he had good points.
It's dope.
You go to the Patreon, you'll understand.
Welcome to Patreon. Check it out.
I don't know.
You will know.
Know this.
Mine's I got most impactful sacrifices, Crisis on Earth, animated and comic book. We'll go animated. Supergirl takes Superman's place to absorb the power of all the Earth's suns to channel into one blast strong enough to destroy the antimatter, ultimately sacrificing herself. Wonder Woman, her sacrifice provides enough energy to recharge the miracle machine, which is used to create the monoverse. Comic book, Barry Allen, of course, man. It was touching, man. It's crazy because I read early 80 Flashes with Barry Allen, and I really liked it, really enjoyed it. But then to see him die, and I'm like, oh my God, you can kill a character.
Disintegrated.
Yeah, and then the Supergirl, of course, taking one for the team. She dies in the comic
Died a
to
hero.
save the multi-universe. They were great. I really enjoyed them, but those were mine. I got Supergirl, Wonder Woman from the animated. And I got Barry and Supergirl from the. Supergirl, Wonder Woman from the animated, and I got Supergirl and Barry Allen from the comic.
That makes sense.
And those are my takes.
Okay.
Very solid.
I'm emotional.
So we're good there. We're gonna go into the next part of this then. So segment 4, it's really our 3. I don't know why I'm numbering them. Just this segment. It's
All
gonna be
good. It's just a segment, man.
out of the movies. Which universe was your favorite to revisit?
We could take this view.
Go for it.
All right.
Simple.
Mine's gonna be simple too, man.
The DC
Talk
universe.
about
Let's say we agree.
The Crisis on Infinite Earths movie allowed fans to revisit several iconic universes, but one of the most beloved was undoubtedly the DC animated universe. This universe, which includes the likes of Batman animated series, Justice League Unlimited holds a special place in my heart.
Are we talking about the Bruce Timm universe?
Yeah.
That's my answer.
I think he's
Got it.
actually saying Justice League, not
Justice
Batman.
League
the-
too.
Justice League Unlimited, Batman, the
Batman
Superman.
BTA.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's the Bruce Timm universe.
The inclusion of the movies was a nod to an enduring legacy and influence of the world of animation and comics. Fans were treated with a scene featuring Kevin Conroy's iconic Batman, which serves as a fitting tribute to the late actor. Other notable universes revisited the movie was Smallville universe, which provided a sense of closure of fans of the show. The Teen Titans universe, which, although fleeting, was a welcome nod to the beloved animated series. And that's what I got for.
I got the same answer, the Bruce Timm universe. I did throw one honorable mention, and it was only because it was cool to watch it in the first movie, the Syndicates universe. To see an evil version of the Justice League, I
I'd
thought that was
say
pretty
that's
cool.
Earth 2, I believe.
Earth 2,
Yeah, it's Earth 2.
Was it just me? Someone might have to fact check me on this, but didn't they refer to Earth 2 as Earth X instead for that universe? It was very odd. I guess it makes sense because they don't want to show Nazis controlling the
I
world.
did
but-
mention it a lot. Earth X in the book.
Right.
I think that was. Let me see if I remember correctly.
I'm gonna say Earth X was a whole totally another timeline. I'm gonna say it's the past.
Earth X is when the Nazis
Isn't that
took
the
over,
one
I
with
thought.
the Justice Society?
That's the one with
That done was pretty cool.
Like with The Question, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold.
We could check it. I'll fact check it real quick.
Oh, we got stuck, everybody.
Yeah,
Let's
I
just
knew it.
talk
Earth
about
X-
something else.
What universe was that?
Earth X is the world where Germany won the Second World War. Superman's a Nazi. Most of the heroes are Nazis.
Oh yeah,
That's what I
they even
was
touched
saying.
upon it in the book too. I mean, the movie
They
where he saw the Nazi symbols and the tank, the streets were all.
They
messed
did?
up. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Okay, it says Earth X is a parallel universe of DC multiverse. It's known for its dark and twisted take on classic DC heroes. Earth X universe was introduced in 1990 and has undergone several revisions. Nazi's victory. You're
Yep,
correct.
Right. Wow.
Earth X, the Axis powers won World War II, and the universe is shaped in a alternate history. Twisted heroes, characters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman have darker, more sinister versions in Earth X.
Yeah.
Alternate storylines, Earth X, blah, blah,
So
blah,
then-
explores a mature
So
theme.
would that have been the Syndicate origin?
No,
Or the-
Syndicate.
their-
No, Syndicate is Earth 2.
Word.
Yeah,
Earth 2.
that's Earth 2. That's was it
So
Johnny
that
Quick?
matters more than
You're
one
talking Owlman. You're talking Ultraman.
That
Superwoman.
universe is where they were just criminals and they took over the U.S.
That
government.
was crazy.
And it was crazy because on in the intro of Crisis, on the actual first issue, where Prime Syndicate, they were always evil and doing bad, and that towards the end they actually became heroes. Johnny Quick was saving people, Ultraman was saving people, and they're like, "Oh my God, all these years we've been bad and evil, and look at us, we're heroes." And then Ultraman was still the image still stuck in my head, man. If you end up, you do the how to edit it, you can pop it up. Show this image where Ultraman's like, "Listen, there's nothing I can throw at this anti-monitor that's killing us or destroying the world." And he's like, "You know what? There's nothing else I can do," and he just gets up and flies right into it, man.
You've seen it. You've seen the original Crisis on Infinite Earth
Nirvana.
movie, right? Yeah, not the three-parter, the original.
The OG.
You both have too, as well. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That was the one where they focused most on the crime syndicate. Owlman ends up almost destroying the
Which was a good
multiverse.
movie.
I was just thinking that was a very good movie.
He handed Batman his ass, though.
It was a good fight. Oh yeah.
He took it to him.
And it's funny how all it takes is the Owlman to be the one to like be open-minded at the end. Like
Open-minded.
I mean, he was
Wanted to
nasty.
destroy everything.
Yeah,
No,
he
but-
said nothing matters.
I know nothing matters. No, but like if
Wow,
That's really open-minded.
How's that for open?
I'm talking about in the most series
Yeah.
where he
Owlman.
bumps into any version who bumps into our version of Batman, he was open-minded about the multiverse, and he just wanted them out.
Every Batman knows about the multiverse.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Owlman's a jabroni. I'm not gonna sit here for as long.
Jabroni, but he took him to Batman.
Yeah.
Remember you said in the comics that the arch enemy of a bat is an owl?
Owl, yeah. Oh yeah.
How freaking sick is that, dude?
surprised he didn't invent the Court of Owls in that universe.
Oh no, because that predated Alan and
A
the
long time ago.
yeah.
Yeah. They didn't sit
Yeah.
down.
If
Yeah.
Crisis came out in the 80s, you have to remember that Court of Owls came out in 2006, I think.
Snyder, baby.
I don't know. That's pretty good. Cool.
All right. Ready, gentlemen?
Yeah. Saber 5.
Well, we're not going to worry about the numbers anymore.
Yeah, we're
We lost them.
It's
We lost track.
realistically-
4.5 stars.
You want to set this one up?
Wow, 4.5 stars. Cool, man.
Does the DC need a new animated universe? Wait, did I just read that? Yeah.
Just
That's connected to these films. Or did I just freaking read this right?
I'll
try
try.
again.
I'm sorry.
Take 2.
I don't know why I asked you to do that. My bad.
I'm tired.
Hey, did you want to go
It's
first?
okay.
And then I'll touch on it. Sweet.
Does DC need a new animated connected universe after these films? And did DC need another Crisis series to follow up the book? So this is another two-parter. I want you guys to take this one at a time. Give me your answer and then give me your synopsis. That way you both can go back and forth about this.
Well, for the animated movie universe,
Yep.
yes.
Okay.
Just like the Bruce Timm's universe. did.
I just want a yes or no from you
Yeah,
first.
Yes on that.
All right.
And for the comic, no. But understand why. they did.
We'll have that conversation in a second. I want to make Tom same thing, bud.
Say yes on both.
Yes
So
to
yes
both.
on both.
Okay.
Yes on both.
See,
Now,
Why not?
hold on, before we get into this.
And we could powwow. We could powwow.
Ooh,
No. They don't. All right, essentially the animated universe.
animated.
We don't need another one. So again, don't get me wrong. We all grew up with cartoons and it'd be sick when we see crossovers, but like I think right now all of the comic book success is coming through the actual comics for the first time in a while.
wait, I'm so sorry. Are you saying no to the animated movies and the comic, or
Yeah.
just?
So in general, I think right now all of the success in comic books at the moment, it's you look at the absolute universe. Yeah, that's they're doing their own thing. They're not connected to anything. They're not tying themselves to anything.
Mhm.
They're putting the best stories out in comics. It's hot, and you look at Ultimate Spider-Man and Absolute Batman #1s respectively. They've ruled 2024 and 2025 now.
Hmm.
I think that tying yourself to other universes or trying to connect yourself to somewhere you're not necessarily supposed to be connected isn't necessarily needed right now. And same thing with the animated series. I mean, all the animated movies and series have been great for DC, but how far does this need to connect when we keep resetting it? I think they're one-offs like Red
got
Sun
one
are
question.
amazing.
Go
I
ahead.
got one question for you.
Good.
All right, let me ask you this. Out of remember how you said the Ultimate Universe,
Yeah.
and then DC has their absolute universe.
Absolutely.
Now let me ask you this: if any of those stories like were really good to you, did you enjoy any of them?
Yeah,
Would you like to see any of them in an anime?
I think down the line, yes.
Okay.
But right now, let them run through the comics. Again, I think things like
Well, you both bring up a really good point. I just want to make sure I'm very
Mhm.
clear. If DC wanted to make an animation about every storyline they've ever made separately, I'm cool with that. The question more is, do they all need to connect? Does it have to be a continued universe?
They don't need to.
Well, I believe
They don't need to.
you said no to this, but I'm going to ask you this question, and then I'm going to connect it to yours question. You said no on the animated, but you don't believe after seeing the ending of Crisis that they shouldn't follow up with a movie where post Crisis and how the new DC animated universe is going to look.
and they could, but it's I think we might be going in circles at this point.
It's probably unnecessary.
Yeah, I think that going back to the basics of characters and again, I can't trust Absolute Batman so hot right now, and I think same thing with Absolute Superman and Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Going back to the basics of the character and maybe changing one or two fundamental things is the way to go right now in comic books. I think
Yeah, that's the comic.
we're seeing in even just live action movies, they keep restarting Superman, whether it's the Man of Steel, whether it's the new James Gunn movie. I think we keep seeing the same handful of stories getting retold and connected to other things like the Justice League movie, where they weren't necessarily ready for all that. I think once they get solid fundamentals of characters, which I think what the Batman movies are doing, they're building Batman. They're looking at a slightly different scope as they ever done in any movie. They are looking at the detective.
So
And
you,
I think-
so you have no faith that if they put out, let's say an example, if they decide to put out a post-crisis Superman movie, cartoon animated movie,
Yeah.
that Superman will be telling the same story again, and it'll be boring.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
just
you're saying.
if we're resetting them and we're resetting the universes, how many times do we really want to do this? I think there have been times where DC and Marvel respectively have both said, "Let's change up the backstories. Let's tweak it. Let's update it." I think that's good.
Mhm.
But does it need to be tied to Crisis? Could it just be its own thing?
Yeah.
That's where I think we're sitting right now in the comic book universe.
So let me make sure I got everybody's rating kind of understood before we continue
Sure.
this.
I
Yes
said
to the show,
the show.
the animated. You said no to the comic.
Right.
You said
I say yes and yes because I want to see more stories and animated or like on the big screen.
Which I don't disagree, but you still would like a connected universe, is what the question really gets to. Okay, and you're saying no to both.
I'm saying no. I maybe later down the line if they start establishing characters, yeah, go ahead and connect them again. But I feel like once we start connecting multiple people, it's how long until we get another Christ on Infinite Earth? And how long do we have to till all these characters need a reset?
Yeah, but then you're getting. Well, I think one of the main reasons why they do that is to get new readers to jump on.
You get
They
that?
say, listen, guys, and all Marvel does it every how often?
They do.
Um,
They relaunch the.
I will
hold
I'm
on,
just
hold
saying,
on. No,
a brand
that's
new reader, a brand new person to come on and be like, "Oh, listen, I can get a #1 issue. I can't go out and get Amazing Fantasies 15.
Mhm.
I can get a new idea. Oh, look, for example, the Ultimate Spider-Man. Look, Spider-Man has a family. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know Spider-Man had a family, and jump on board from then on. You know what I mean?
to be fair though.
But it kind
how
of knocks
often-
the legacy of the original
I mean, I agree with
characters
you.
too.
But how often, if we're talking about chronological timeline, how often will DC completely reboot their universe to get an issue 1 where Marvel will say, we're going to cancel this because the storyline is over. We're going to relaunch now the next storyline. So, yes, it's another issue 1, but everything that just happened in this last 120 issues
Doesn't
are still
really-
canon.
Yeah.
Also, is there a point to really killing off an entire universe, killing off multiple universes? Where, like, I think my love and Ultimate Spider-Man. Where it was one of the first volume 1 of Ultimate Spider-Man, one of the I think the best runs in comic book history.
Original
And
16 or
the original,
Yeah.
like the OG. And then they do have a very nice, like Peter gets it. He died, and it is very nice. And I think that, all right, sure, we can go into Miles, but it was only how long until they wanted to bring Miles to the normal universe.
Which
where
actually, did you see they're doubling back on that? Well, we can talk about that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
I do want to say this. But the idea of crisis. I mean, I joke about this, but this is serious now. What was good? What was good about crisis? Here's the
Just the last 40 minutes.
Yeah,
the
just
good
right
thing
now,
about
serious.
crisis was before crisis, the bigger picture was DC comic books had many heroes, but some of them lived in different universes. Captain Marvel, Shazam lived in the Fawcett universe. Blue Beetle, Question, Booster Gold, and everything lived in a different universe because they acquired these characters over the years, and it was
The
very
rights, yep, you're
difficult
right.
to explain why these crossovers of Superman or Batman was happening. And then all of a sudden they decided to do this, and it kind of like put them in a clean slate, like we said. And all of a sudden, DC had to do one big story, like a timeline. All the heroes from DC in one time, like they live together. Their backstory is now officially clean slated, and they exist together. They can cross over with no problems. The only thing that they restrained themselves, I thought was a good thing, well, they didn't have to deal with multiversal storylines.
But
And
they
if they
do.
did,
They have Elseworld.
Elseworld, but they made it clear that Elseworld, even though it's an alternate
Yeah,
universe,
it's
it will
not
never
canon.
cross over.
Yeah,
It wouldn't canon.
It's not canon.
But then you get Crisis on Infinite Earth. You get
That's
Yeah.
when they went back to the
Crossover.
well.
Well, later, one of the post-crisis events.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how I told you all the worlds were destroyed and put into one?
Yes,
No, they came back out and made them back again.
I know.
They stretched it back out again and made the actual worlds back again.
That was 2000's Crisis Infinity.
Correct.
I do think this is circling back to my point.
Yes.
I think we are watching history in real time. We see something that's great. It runs with another thing that is great, and at some point, everyone calls them the crossover, and they do, and it makes a big hit. It makes a big splash. And it could be a good run, like Infinite Earth,
Right.
Infinite Crisis. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying.
It's one of them. It's one of them damn stories.
But then it resets, and then when it resets, it's only so much time until we see another crossover with these runs. And I think that
Exactly.
until writers put their foot down, and like hell, Spawn's not the best selling book, but it keeps going, and it's one long series. And they had their little spin-offs, little side things, but you're never seeing worlds get reset, and that's why.
To be fair with Spawn's actually one of those very few situations where even if they do launch a new title like the Black Knight Spawn, that takes place 1,000 years before
Either
Al Simmons'
Sam and
storyline.
Twitch.
Or they try
I've been reading that.
That's true.
It's not
Sam
too
and
bad.
Twitch is
It's a
in
big
continuity.
It's
Yeah,
not too
that's-
bad. It's all Spawn universe, baby.
well, that's very fair.
McFarlane money time. Hey,
It's his
Cha-ching.
one. It's his one.
Well, you know what? I guess the only criticism to that is that you don't really see in the Marvel or DC side all that much. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. But when Al Simmons' arc ends, they bring in a new Spawn. The Spawn's not received very well, and they bring it back to Al Simmons
Yeah.
with, I guess you can make the exception for Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America. I can't really think of a situation where Batman or Superman, other than Death of Superman, where they were replaced and not received well.
Mhm.
But Spawn has that problem every once in a while, where Marvel and DC don't really have that problem.
Well, Batman back in the 90s, remember he got his back broken and Azrael stepped in. He was
Azrael.
extremely popular at one time.
That's true, and you don't see that most of the time. Like when Peter Parker was replaced by Ben Reilly, that was received not so well.
Well, then also in the Crisis stuff, the Robin was actually was it? I think it was Dick. He was he became Batman
Batman,
in
yep.
another
In
universe.
another universe. Well,
Yeah.
again, like you said, it wasn't canon
No.
until we got to
Correct.
Crisis in 2000. 2000,
Correct.
2006, 2007.
Yeah. I just want to drop this. It's a little thing that I have for segment 5.
Sure.
DC Comics has a rich history in the animated series. The new connecting universes can be exciting development. Here are some points to consider. Pros of the new animated connecting universe: a fresh start. A new universe would allow DC to reboot and refresh their animated series, introducing new characters and storylines. Continuity: a connected universe would establish DC to create cohesive, I can't even speak, narrative across multi-series, making it easier for fans to follow and engage in storyline. Like I said before about, getting new readers,
That's how it is.
watchers
That's
for
what
the
they
anime
live.
series.
Yep.
A new universe could explore different genres, tones, and styles, appealing to a broader range of audience and keeping an animated series fresh. Cons of a new animated series connecting universe. Okay, overall saturation, continuity challenges, fan fatigue, because
So a lot of
like
things
you were
we
saying
talked
about, you're just spinning basically the wheel, going back. Connect the universe. Regarding a need for another Crisis is complex question. The original Crisis on Infinite Earths maxi series from 85 to 86 was a groundbreaking, event that reshaped the DC universe. The recent animation movies adaptation was a nod to the iconic storyline.
That's what it was.
So, that was great. Thank you, Tommy. So, we're all okay with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the last 10 minutes of the show, and I think this deserves.
I just want a quick shout out to that story, the 2000.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wrote it down. So I think it was 2005. It was Infinite Crisis. That's where they decided to bring back the multiverse.
Yeah,
And it was written by Jeff Johns, artwork by George Perez before he passed away,
RP, baby.
Bill Jimenez, Ivan Rice, and Jerry Ordway. So I gotta give them shout out that they brought back the multiverse in 2005, and I'm okay with that.
Well, thank you for that. That actually, I wish you kind of waited on that one, but I mean, it was still a beautiful thing. I only say that because our final segment is thoughts on the DC multiverse post Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I mean, I know that's a huge shout to it. It's like, look, 2006, 2007.
Right.
Now we have a restored multiverse. What are you guys thinking about DC's multiverse in modern day?
I'd like to jump in on this first. I do
Yeah,
think,
please.
as someone who has never been fully immersed in every single run of every single DC thing they've had. I mean, there's good series or bad series, but I think on average, I'm definitely more of in the Image series ongoing, the Marvel ones ongoing. But I think there are some I've never really gotten to big Flash books. Some Batman books just don't get me, but I do consistently think that when the DP puts out multiverse, or I should say alternate universe books, I think they're at their best. Again, Batman Beyond is an amazing run.
Red Sun was a good one.
Red Sun's one of my favorite all-time books, let alone for DC. Killing Joke, again, these books aren't necessarily tied directly to the main universe, but they are their own thing. I mean, that's where DC is shining right now. And in general, I do think that when they do decide to go put out something new, they're usually hitting on all strides, and I commend DC. I think they're consistently doing that. And I don't think they're stopping anytime soon, especially with Absolute.
Perfect. I'll just say this. I totally agree with everything you just said. And to piggyback off what you said, my thing is with DC is, for example, the post-crisis. For example, the DC New Universe, or not new, the New 52.
New 52.
Okay. Talk about something, it totally imploded. When they actually started these books, they were killing it. 52 issues, brand new storyline, ground up. Shout out Craig Capullo. Shout
Yeah.
out Scott
Yes.
Snyder. Those books are amazing. Still to this day, you could go back and they're a breath of fresh air.
I still go back and read
Yeah,
those books.
it's just so good.
Yeah.
The art. Oh my god, great feast. My thing is with when they did the New 52, they said, okay, new books, new artists, new writers. Let's do this.
52.
They had no idea their end game, what they were doing. So it imploded towards the end of all those runs. Because when they did the New 52, they were like, okay, the new men, the this and that, whatever, the outsiders, whatever, all these characters and everything. They came in with a bang and they left with a spark because it just totally imploded because it was just too much. And a lot of people weren't even buying these books. I mean, I went out, stupid me went out and brought all the number one issues.
People were after certain books.
Yeah, I went out, I brought some books like Swamp Thing and all this and that, Constantine, blah, 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 blah. It was just oversaturated. And it got to the point where a couple months into all that, they were canceling books. Like off the rip, they canceled like 10 books. Then it went to 15. Then it went to 20. And then
Like
you know
the
what?
80s again.
They had the core books, but they had no end game where they wanted to go.
Yeah, I'm even trying to think. Out of New 52, what were the most popular? You had Batman, obviously. You had Superman. You had Wonder Woman.
Superman, Wonder Woman,
Green Lantern,
Superman had a
and
couple
Flash.
titles.
I think
Superman
Flash
did have
because
a
of his rogue gallery. That was a big.
I mean,
back then.
Oh, yeah, they had was it Godspeed in it? Was pretty cool. All that. I mean,
Yeah.
like
New
I said, it was
52
good, but they had no idea what they were
idea
doing
what they
towards
were
the
doing.
end.
And I think why we get the Crisis on Infinite Earth things is because there are no end plans for these alternate universes. Again, back to my Ultimate Spider-Man. They killed Peter, and that was probably the perfect way to end the series. And then it was
They should have ended the original 1610 right there.
They
can
could-
agree with
had
that.
a chance. with
they
Miles
could have
Morales.
ended Ultimate Spider-Man. They didn't. Yeah, Miles is a cool addition to modern comics now, but did we need him right at the end of that run? He could have had his own thing in 616 if we really wanted to.
And what gets me about the Ultimate Universe, usually when you die there, you're dead.
I'm
Yeah.
actually okay with that because I feel like it's actually
is
more
good.
impactful.
It's more
when
like
someone dies.
the death. There's no way to come back. I agree.
Well,
with
my
that.
one thing about that,
But they found a way to come back.
I'll
with the
just-
new version.
I'll just touch on this and you guys could do what
Go
you
ahead.
want. My thing is with the Ultimate Wolverine, he's killing all the damn X-Men. You're not going to have, not X-Men, mutants. You're not going to have anybody talk about the
Ultimate
stories, man.
Wolverine?
Yeah, he's just murking everybody. Come
Well,
on, man.
okay,
plenty of
to be
mutants in
fair,
the world.
But
so
why?
you're talking about New 1610.
Yeah,
let's
the
say.
new one, but why?
So New
Come on, you
1610
had nobody
just.
to kill.
To be fair, New 1610 just started. We don't know if they have their own version of Krakoa, and Krakoa can resurrect a lot of those mutants.
The last issue,
also-
the last issue of Wolverine is going to be like, there's no one to kill, he's going to kill himself.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Krakoa in that universe.
We don't know
They
there
don't
is.
know that.
They didn't mention it yet.
They didn't
There is
mention
one.
it yet.
You
It
have
just
to
still
remember,
left to
we
be
don't even
explained.
have a real academy for mutants yet. We have the Japanese school, the boarding school, but it's not exclusively for mutants. It's been mutants and magic.
Right.
We have to still see what the United States X-Men look like.
So
We're not there yet.
So I'm reading it. I'm like, oh no, don't kill that. Oh, why'd you kill that dude? Oh, come on, man. I'm like, how many? Like you said, there's probably endless amount
tears.
of mutants. Yeah, I'm like, dude, there's like endless amount.
They're going to the Giovanni soon.
Well, I want to throw this at you about the answer real quick.
Yeah.
Post crisis. This is post crisis.
Yes.
I want everybody to remember how it was after the original crisis ended,
Yeah.
all the way to 2005 when crisis began and brought back the multiverse. During that time, DC only had one universe. I spoke that earlier.
Yep.
Marvel didn't have that problem at the time, and then during that timeline. Hold on, let me explain something.
And we're on the DC topic, I
I know,
think.
but I'm trying. This,
Yeah,
they're gonna get to the story. They're trying to help DC. Marvel
More
did something
Spider-Man.
right during that time, and they were.
More Spider-Man.
No, I'm not even gonna say. I'm not even.
I do pictures of Spider-Man, damn it.
All right, hear me out. Hear me out. Marvel had one thing DC doesn't know what to do.
Spider-Verse?
They don't know how to map out what timelines what
Gotcha.
and keep it the way it is. So that way it
Structured,
can
yeah.
still coexist
I
with
got
the
you.
main 616 universe.
You're right.
The absolutes do it just fine, right?
And
Yeah.
they were cool. Like the early, that's why Marvel was doing so well. And then somewhere in I think it was 2002, the book Exiles. I don't know if you ever read
Yes,
that book
I remember that.
by Judd Winnick. It was a bunch of multiversal team that went to all these multiversal universes, and they were trying
Two
to.
brothers that were going out against each other, right? One was red team and one was the blue team. Was that the one you're talking
No,
about?
Exiles was it
One
had
character?
Blink. Blink?
Yes, yes.
From the
Okay.
Age of Apocalypse. They had Sabretooth from
Oh,
the
I'm
Age of
sorry.
Apocalypse.
We were talking about DC. My bad. My bad.
Oh,
my
no,
bad.
no,
My bad.
no, I said this is what Marvel
you,
did.
you thought we
So
were
they
talking.
came up with a book
My
where the
bad.
whole team is made up of
No, I got you. I got
certain
you.
people from every universe.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And they were on a team and they had to go to all these other multiverses and fix the problems of
Gotcha.
the universes.
Mhm.
That series was so good to me because every universe was kept, they were all saved. And it didn't interfere with the regular Marvel timeline.
No incursions or anything
Right,
like
no
that.
incursions. We didn't have a problem in Marvel until just before Secret Wars,
Gotcha.
where we spoke about this, where Jonathan Hickman took all the Marvel.
Yeah, we're gonna do a whole episode
yeah,
on
we
that.
did that. But what I'm trying to explain is this: after that was finished, the mess was fixed. The universe, fine.
Okay.
Everybody in Marvel knows what universe and where they're keeping track.
Whatever you say, boss.
DC always had a problem trying to keep every universe organized because there's so many of them.
Oh, you're
And
just
when they
following
had-
the channel now.
So, and now I'm getting to DC. So when 52 dropped, and they had the idea of 52 universes they can keep track of, I thought it was simple for them. They put out all these books. I hope they were doing great. And like you said, they didn't do too well.
Oh no, Endgame.
Dropped the ball.
And no
And then they did the Dark, I think it was Dark Crisis, Final Crisis, and they fixed everything
Dude,
up.
in the new 52, their version of Superman disintegrated
I
to
know.
nothing. And I'm like,
So he
are
should've
you
been
kidding
dead.
me? Like, are you kidding me?
Not
But
box.
after the initial Crisis on Infinite Earths,
Yes,
I loved it. Fresh start, new slate. You got your new Wally West was running around as Flash.
he
You
was
got
the new Flash for a long
John
time.
Byrne went back and actually revamped Superman. They
His
tore him
origin?
down. They had him in high school. He was playing football. It was dope. It was excellent.
Batman wasn't even affected.
Dan Marvin Wolfman and Perez jumped on
defend-
Wonder Woman.
To defend DC, post-crisis, we do know that there's one main timeline. It's just that main timeline gets restarted every so
time.
often.
Yes.
So I guess what I'm trying to explain is DC would be successful.
If they follow the blueprint.
What
of
I would
Marvel.
like to see from here on out, I mean, they're doing good with
That's what
Absolute.
he's trying to say. Watch.
Is keep
I don't. That's
bet
probably.
you
bet you
keep track of your alternate
Bet you
universes.
dollar. Bet you dollar.
Keep
I would agree with you.
keep telling good stories from those alternate universes, but don't keep doing like you want to merge them. No more crisis. Just keep going.
Like
Lead us somewhere. And
like
keep
Marvel? Like Marvel. Right?
Like Marvel.
See,
Well,
you owe me $1. Man, I got $1.
The real question is
Go.
why?
Why what?
Why?
You asking me why
Tell
should
me why.
camping or
What? No.
why can't they?
This is gonna be the last part we talk about this, so we can bring this into
This is the
after
last
hours.
DC
Yeah.
episode.
Why what?
If DC takes every, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, reset their universe and retell or even tell completely different origins for these characters to keep them fresh, so there's not continuity issues, why should they ever stop? Marvel has a ton of continuity issues. The Punisher served in Vietnam. Now all of a sudden he serves in Afghanistan.
Well, look at Frank. They brought him back. They made him younger.
They did.
I will say there's one reason why, and it is for the fans. And I think that
For this too.
it's for the loyalists to not reset. And don't get me wrong,
For Marvel or DC?
for everyone, we see that there's number ones popping out everywhere, and it's always big money to go buy the number one, to go stack on it, go sell it, go flip it, and all that just for Gen 4 issues. I think the reason why we are so devoted to this is because we don't collect just number ones here.
Us, yes.
I think comic book fans want
The original
long
number.
stories. Like again, it's like the Amazing Spider-Man went on for how many issues before it went to volume 2? And we're talking from the 60s to like what 90s, early
90s.
2000s, and even then, I mean, like those are huge. Original Batman, the volume 1 was very long, and I think again, it was very much for the fans. And there were times where it picked up, even if it was a 300, a 400, a 200. I think if we keep resetting, we keep bringing back number ones, it's good for the short term, not good for the long term.
Pedro said one time, remember on the previous pod,
yeah.
you said that instead of saying, because it's hard, like to follow the actual runs. You're like, and Pedro was like, well, then they go, the writer wrote it, this artist wrote it. Drew it. So you could be like, for example, the Avengers Hickman run. You know what I'm saying, Pete? Remember you were saying that? That, that it's hard, man, because you go buy a book, you're like, damn, what volume is this?
There was a writer.
But now you have problems where writers come back on later storylines. So it's like, oh, I'm going to read a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. Okay, great. Thank God he's only done one run of Spider-Man. But if now take someone like
runs ASM and then his.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm
oh,
just saying.
even
yeah,
then, shit, look at
Yeah.
that. Which one are you talking about?
But there is an argument to this. The argument was one writer told me a long time ago. He goes,
Son,
when the reason why he
let me tell you how Spider-Man became Spider-Man.
Let's read the Spider-Man book.
All right, the argument is this.
Dope, man.
That was awesome. The argument is this.
It's a guy named Peter.
A comic book that comes out every week. Any book. I'm not the nitpicking man.
Oh God!
When they relaunch
Here
it,
we go.
it's someone's first comic book. It's someone's first time.
Join us at After Hours within 5
pick a
seconds
number
from now.
one issue that's on it because it's easier to start from beginning.
We've
Now
gotten
it
them all-
sucks for longtime fans to jump in, after a book gets canceled, brought back as a new number one because the continuity is still being brought up. It's just a fresh take.
I got you.
Now I think that's a good idea
Yeah.
compared to the idea of cancel a book and making sure everything that happened was erased and relaunched it like it's from the beginning.
Yep, you're right.
In a whole universe, not just like they're starting the absolute or the
there's,
ultimate.
posi-
Talk about, like,
there's positives and
the main-
negatives to
Yeah.
both sides of this. Is
Correct.
what it comes
Right.
down to.
Yeah.
Do we have any final thoughts on Infinite Crisis before we
I
go?
was going to
into-
say,
thank you.
come back
Final
to our
thought.
show.
For the,
Me personally, again, I still huge fan of the 1986 book. Show was, I mean, the three movies were good to see it on the screen, but again, I just felt it dragged out, and a lot of it,
It was very original.
implements from the comic. But again, me personally, I still go comic all day.
Okay.
I still go comic all day, and just the art, like you said, nailed it. And I thought Mark Wolfman was the beast. He was a man, wrote it, and but it's a series. I mean, watch it, enjoy it, have your kids enjoy it, let them get familiar with these characters and enjoy it. That's all. It's for the fans. Basically, it's all entertainment. Are you not entertained?
As a Marvel fan, I also have to agree with you. The book is better than the movie.
Yep.
So, hands down.
There we go.
As a Marvel fan for a DC movie,
For DC, if it was between the movie and the book, I'd go with the book.
before we go to defend the movie / animation, nostalgia is a very heavy drug, and I think right now it's the last time we're ever hear something fresh from Kevin Conroy, whether we like it or not, we like the show.
Yeah.
That is something that we have to rest our head on, and then we'll probably look back forever and ever. Rest in peace to legend to
Set in
my
stone.
Batman.
You can watch it back over and over again, or watch the animated series.
The Batman animated series, the Justice League Unlimited. Yeah.
all right, now we're just
Now we're
like-
promoting
Good.
other
Thank you
things.
guys so much for joining us for this episode.
Thank you, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the patreon.com/Comic Combo Express. You can join
Drop a follow.
for $4 a month, I believe, $3.99 a month. You get all this extra content, and you get to see our other show, The After Hours, which we're going to go to right now. We're going to go continue making fun of Pedro's first love, Spider-Man. Anthony, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Anthony!
You guys can follow Anthony over on all social.
Thank you, guys.
Follow me on all socials, Webheadvega, whatever you want. I don't know. Have fun.
All right, guys. Thank you all for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us.
God
Peace.
bless. Drop a like, follow. Thank you.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang is for kids.